Hello everyone. Today I am going to teach you about the development of mouth cavity and development of the tongue. The mouth cavity consists of two parts, primitive and definitive parts. Primitive mouth is derived from the ectodermal stomodium, whereas most of the definitive mouth is developed from the endoderm of the cephalic part of the foregut. So in this diagram you can see this is the stomodium which lined by the ectoderm, and this is the cranial most part of the foregut lined by the endoderm, okay, that form the definitive mouth cavity. And this is the two layer that is known as a buccopharyngeal membrane, which ruptured at the 4th week of the intrauterine life, and the endoderm of the cranial part of the foregut that continue with the ectoderm. Now, the primitive oral cavity that developed from the ectodermal stomodium, okay, which divided by the development of the palate, okay, into nasal and oral cavity. Now, the oral component of this stomodium form the mucous lining of the cheek, lips and gums and the enamel of the teeth, and the nasal component of the stomodium form the mucous membrane of the nasal cavity, nasal septum and the palate. That means the roof of the definitive mouth is formed by the ectoderm of the stomodium, while the floor of the definitive mouth, however, developed from the foregut because the mucous lining of the tongue is entirely derived from the endodermal elements of the brachial arches. Now, definitive oral cavity that is derived from the cephalic part of the foregut, okay, in the floor of the oral cavity, developing tongue, this is the tongue, okay, developing tongue that separated from the mandibular process by a sulcus. Here you can see this sulcus is known as a linguogingival sulcus, that is the endodermal zone. Lateral to this sulcus, this sulcus, okay, it is labiogingival sulcus, appear in the ectodermal zone, okay. The area between these two sulcus is elevate and develop an alveolar process, okay, that later forms jaw and teeth. In this diagram you can see the roof of the mouth, okay, in which you can see the lip and the labiogingival sulcus, and this is the alveolar process. Now, before going to the development of the tongue, I would like to describe the anatomy of the tongue in a brief. So, tongue is a muscular organ situated in the floor of the mouth. Okay. It composed of skeletal muscle, and tongue is associated with taste, speech, chewing and deglutition. The tongue is innervated by 5th, 7th, 9th cranial nerves. Okay. Now the parts of the tongue has body and root, that is the immovable part. Body has upper surface also known as the dorsum of the tongue, okay, and the inferior surface which is a smooth and confined to oral part. So In the middle of this ventral surface or inferior surface of tongue, you can see the fold of mucous membrane that is known as a frenulum linguae, and lateral to this fold there is a dorsal lingual vein, the sublingual fold where the sublingual ducts are open. At the middle of this sublingual fold there is a submandibular papilla where the submandibular ducts open. Now this diagram shows the dorsum of the tongue. Okay, the dorsum of the tongue is rough, and it has anterior 2/3 part. Okay, that's also known as the oral part. Okay, and the posterior 1/3 part, that is known as a pharyngeal part. This anterior 2/3 part is rough due to the it covered by the lingual papilla, while the posterior 1/3 part is also rough due to the lingual tonsil, because there is a lymphoid follicles that form the lingual tonsil. A small posterior most part that connected to the epiglottis. Now this anterior 2/3 and posterior 1/3 part is demarcated by the V-shaped sulcus. This sulcus is known as a sulcus terminalis. Two limbs of V-shaped sulcus terminalis meet in the midline, where you can see the foramen cecum, that is the commencement of the thyroglossal duct. Thyroglossal duct that form the thyroid gland. Now the anterior and posterior parts differ in their development, topography, structure and function. Now the development of the tongue. Tongue begin to develop at the end of the 4th week of intrauterine life in the floor of the primitive pharynx and developing mouth, when pharyngeal arches meet in the midline. Before the pharyngeal arches fuse, there are the local proliferation of mesenchyme give rise to number of swellings. Okay, number of swelling. These swellings fuse with each other and form the tongue. Now we will discuss the development of the tongue under 3 headings. Okay, so tongue is made up by the 3 components. Okay, one is mucous membrane that is derived from the endoderm of pharyngeal arches. Second, connective tissue that derived from the mesenchyme of the pharyngeal arches. And the third, the muscle of the tongue that derived from the occipital myotomes. If you know where they are derived, it is easy to say no supply of the tongue as well. Now first, mucous membrane of the anterior 2/3 of the tongue is derived from the first arch, that is the mandibular arch. Okay, so here you can see this is the first arch. At the ventral end you can see the 3 swellings. Okay, so mandibular arch show the 3 swellings. Okay. First swelling that appear is a tuberculum impar. Here you can see in the red color one. Okay, this tuberculum impar or the median lingual swelling that appear first just rostral to this foramen cecum. Okay, soon after the 2 oval shaped swelling appear. Okay, these 2 oval shaped swelling is known as a lateral lingual swelling. These 2 lateral lingual swelling rapidly increase in size, merge with each other and overgrow the median lingual swelling. So median lingual swelling don't form a recognizable part in adult, and so the anterior 2/3 part that is formed by the fusion of the two lateral lingual swelling. So, two lateral lingual swelling that form the mucosa of the anterior two-thirds of the tongue. Site of fusion of the two lateral lingual swelling is represented by the midline groove on the dorsal surface of the tongue and the fibrous lingual septum seen internally. Now the mucous membrane of the posterior part of the tongue. During the 5th week, two elevations form, one just caudal to this tuberculum impar. Okay, this is black one, that is tuberculum impar. Just caudal to this there is a one swelling, small swelling is formed in relation to the second arch. Okay, this swelling is known as a cupula, and the other large oval swelling that form in relation to the third and fourth arch. This large swelling is known as a hypopharyngeal eminence. Now the hypopharyngeal eminence that divide into two by one small sulcus, okay, ventral part and dorsal part. The ventral part that form the mucosa of the posterior part of the tongue, while the dorsal part of the hypopharyngeal eminence that form the epiglottis. Now this, as the tongue develop, the cupula is gradually overgrown by hypopharyngeal eminence and disappear. So in this diagram you can see this is the first arch, second arch, third arch and fourth arch in lateral view. Okay, so the first arch, two lateral lingual swelling that form the mucosa of the anterior two-thirds of the tongue, and here you can see this second arch that form the cupula, and the third arch, the ventral part of the hypopharyngeal eminence. Okay, now the mesenchyme of the third arch rapidly overgrow that of the second arch, which is thereby excluded from the further involvement in the development of the tongue. So here you can see the hypopharyngeal eminence that overgrows the cupula. Okay. Now the anterior two-thirds of the tongue fuse with the posterior one-third of the tongue, and this junction is represented by the V-shaped sulcus that's known as a sulcus terminalis. Some cell from the posterior one-third migrate and crosses sulcus terminalis. Okay, and these cells form the circumvallate papillae. Both the anterior and posterior portion of the tongue located within the oral cavity at birth. The posterior third descend into the oropharynx by 4 years of age. Now the connective tissue and muscles of the tongue. Now in this diagram you can see this is the occipital myotomes, okay, and this is the pharyngeal arches. Now the connective tissue of the tongue that is derived from the pharyngeal arch mesenchyme, okay, while the muscles of the tongue that is derived from the 3 to 4 occipital myotomes. The myoblasts that migrate ventrally along the epipericardial ridge to the developing or tongue rudiment. These myoblasts that form the all muscle intrinsic as well as extrinsic muscle of the tongue. Myoblasts pull their nerve, hypoglossal nerve, during migration. Hence, hypoglossal nerve crosses both external and internal carotid artery superficially. Now the development of lingual papillae and taste bud. Lingual papillae appear towards the end of the 8th week. The valate and foliate papillae appear first close to terminal branches of the glossopharyngeal nerve. Fungiform papillae appear later near termination of chorda tympani branch of facial nerve. The most common papillae, that is the filiform papillae, is a thread-like, developed during the early fetal life, 10 to 12 weeks, contain afferent nerve endings that are sensitive to touch. The taste bud develop during 11 to 13 week on dorsal surface of tongue, palatoglossal arch, palate, posterior surface of epiglottis and posterior wall of the pharynx. Fetal facial response can be induced by putting bitter substance at 26 to 28 weeks, indicating that reflex pathway between taste bud and facial muscles are established by this stage. Now the most important part in the development of the tongue is nerve supply of the tongue. Okay. The development of the tongue explain its nerve supply. Now in this diagram you can see the nerve supply of the tongue. As you know, this part shows the sensory innervation and this half of the tongue show the motor innervation. Okay. Now the anterior 2/3 of the tongue, okay, here. This anterior 2/3 that is derived from the first arch, that is mandibular arch, and the nerves of the first arch is a mandibular nerve, that is the post-rhematic nerve, and the chorda tympani nerve, that is the pre-rhematic nerve of the first arch. Now the general sensation from the anterior 2/3 of the tongue is carried by the lingual nerve, that is the branch of the mandibular nerve, okay, while the taste sensation carried by the chorda tympani branch of the facial nerve. Now the mucosa of the posterior 1/3 of the tongue, that is derived from the third arch, and the glossopharyngeal nerve is a nerve of the third arch which carries both general as well as taste sensation from the posterior 1/3 of the tongue. Now the posterior most part, that is developed from the fourth arch. Okay, so this part is supplied by the superior laryngeal nerve branch of the vagus, which carries general as well as taste sensation from the posterior most part of the tongue. Now here in this part shows the motor supply. Okay, all the muscles that is derived from the occipital myotomes. Okay, so this nerve, hypoglossal nerve, supply all intrinsic as well as extrinsic muscle of the tongue except this palatoglossal muscle. This palatoglossal muscle that's supplied by the pharyngeal plexus by fibers arising from the vagus nerve. Now the developmental anomalies of the tongue. Aglossia, is a complete absence of tongue. Hemiglossia is a failure of one lateral lingual swelling. So tongue, only one lateral lingual swelling develop. Okay. Bifid tongue, where it is due to the non-fusion of the two lateral lingual swelling. So here the anterior two-third of the tongue is bifid. Bifid tongue is always seen in the snake. Tongue tie or ankyloglossia, incomplete formation of alveolo-lingual sulcus. Okay. The tongue is connected with the floor of the mouth by short frenulum, okay, that interfere with its free protrusion and also feeding problems. Ankyloglossia superior, tongue adherent with palate. Microglossia is a condition where tongue is small. Macroglossia is a large tongue. Okay, hypertrophy of tongue is seen, and it is a characteristic feature in the Down syndromes. Okay, lingual thyroid. Okay, failure of migration of thyroid gland. So the thyroid gland develop within the substance of the tongue. Okay, that's known as a lingual thyroid. So this is all about the development of tongue and development of the mouth cavity. Thank you.